Data from the Department of Justice reveals that the Biden administration has used what's known as the FACE Act, which is a Clinton-era law. It stands for the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances. But they are using that FACE Act to target pro-life activists, even though the intent of the law is to protect pro-life pregnancy centers and houses of worship, as well as abortion clinics. But in the past 30 years since the FACE Act passed in 1994, and for those of you who are watching, we have a graphic we want to put up here. But since 1994, there have been approximately 211 FACE Act cases. Now catch this. Of the 211 cases, 205 of those cases, that's 97%, have been used against pro-life activists. Well, joining me now to discuss this by phone is Congressman Chip Roy. It is his office that uncovered this data. He serves on several committees, including the Judiciary Committee and the Rules Committee. Congressman Chip Roy is one of those who is all over the place in Washington, D.C. He represents the 21st Congressional District of Texas. Congressman Roy, welcome back to Washington Watch. Great to have you.
Jody, great to be on. I hope you're doing well, my brother.
I am doing extremely well. Hope you are also. Thank you for joining us. All right, listen, the statistics don't lie. And your office has found this data that is stunning, shocking, maddening. But from 1994 to 2024, there were 205 cases brought against pro-lifers, only 6 brought against pro-abortion activists. Your thoughts on all of this?
Well, I think it points out very clearly that Christopher Wray, when he was in front of the House Judiciary Committee, and he tried to dismiss my concerns when I raised the question about the application of the FACE Act to pro-life Americans and that it was being used as to be weaponized against them. And he dismissed it, first of all, when I brought up the case as I think you all know the case, a 75-year-old grandmother who was unfortunately had the FACE Act applied to her and is now facing 2 years in jail, going to prison literally this week, I believe, in Texas. The fact is that that's something that the FBI director said he didn't even know who Paulette Harlow was, who is the 75-year-old grandmother. And he was like, I'm not even familiar with that case. But then he tried to turn around and say, oh, but don't worry, we've been applying this, equally. And he tried to cite some general data, but didn't give any numbers. The fact is, we've gotten this very specific set of data that, as you just pointed out, 97% of these cases have been used against pro-life activists. And to be clear, Jody, not just conservatives, not just pro-life evangelicals or something. There are some progressive activists that have also had this be applied to them and get jail time. And I think that's something that people need to understand, that this is the religion to the left. And they don't actually even care to a degree who it gets applied to.
It just sounds to me that this is it's like prosecutions on steroids. I mean, this is what a weaponized government looks like, isn't it?
It is. Let's consider the progressive that I just talked about. I got to know these particular activists, Lauren Handy. She was one of the ones that you will remember in the DC-5 that was uncovering the extent to which they had evidence of these aborted babies and the bodies of these aborted babies that they were able to retrieve. And Lauren is the one who's now facing and has been sentenced to 4 years and 9 months in jail. There's allegations about what happened when they went into the clinic and that maybe they pushed somebody down and so forth. But again, these are misdemeanor type offenses. Same thing with Paulette Harlow, the 75-year-old grandmother who's not in great health. Her husband worries about her. If there's a misdemeanor offense here for blocking access to the clinic, no matter what you and I think about the clinic, okay. I mean, we understand that an application of that law and the rule of law, but putting aside the fact that we're standing up for life in the first place, but at the end of the day, they're trying to weaponize this specifically to put pro-life people in jail for a long time. It's coming to a theater near you, and it won't just be abortion, y'all. I mean, let's be very real. It's about religious liberty. It's about parents like Scott Smith in Loudoun County. It's about Mark Houck and FBI, who was also, that was a pro-life issue. But there are multiple issues where this will be applied to you, whether you don't bake a cake for a gay wedding or whether it's some sort of transgender issue. This is all going to be applied against you.
Against anyone who disagrees with this radical left-wing agenda. They are weaponizing the government to attack their political opponents, to destroy them. I look at this Biden administration of the 211 cases over 30 years now. 55 of those have taken place under the Biden administration. This FACE Act has been around for 30 years. 25% of all of this these cases have happened just in the 3.5 years of the Biden administration. This is it's a vicious attack. It is a vicious rise on attacks against those political opponents in every way. Is that an accurate assessment?
Yeah, no, that is 100% right, Jody. And I think it's important to kind of pull up and then look at this from 50,000 feet and just understand where we are in America. Because these patriots who are standing up and doing what they believe is right and exercising their First Amendment rights and exercising their rights to try to protect those who need protection, they're facing the consequences of that under our legal system. But when that legal system is being used in a weaponized fashion, okay, it turns it on its head. It's the destruction of the rule of law. When I was a prosecutor, you had to make judgment calls. If you were going to go prosecute, for example, a felon in possession of a firearm, and you had a gang member with a whole laundry list of a rap sheet that was terrible and moving drugs and killing people and, all that assault, you had no problem putting that guy in jail when you catch him with a firearm and he's a felon and he's in possession, right?
We've got about 30 seconds, Congressman.
But what if you run across a woman who had a shotgun in her closet and she happened to be a felon because she once smoked pot, and she uses it to defend herself? I'm not going to prosecute that case. That's this. They're doing it on purpose. They're doing it because they want pro-lifers to be in jail, and everybody listening to this needs to know it.
Congressman Chip Roy, always an honor to have you on the program. Thanks to you and your office for revealing this to all of us. We appreciate it so much.